Stock Charts Live. You may notice I'm missing my microphone. I have to use the microphone on my webcam, so I apologize for the audio. And let me know if it's okay, or also just end the stream now. I know audio is critical. So let me know if you could, how the audio is, and if it's worth doing this telecast. We have a lot to go over, and we're going to talk about strategy today. In particular, what are we going to do now after Apple has reported, and they reported very good numbers. Apple loses all after hours gains. This on a good report. I think they had historical numbers. Beat consensus of the beat on EPS. Hey, Paul. Louis. Franklin, thank you. Thank you, my friend. Happy Thursday to you. All right, cool. We're going to look at the charts in a moment. I'm trying to figure out, I know the supply chain is going to be an issue for Apple moving forward. If it's a problem for Apple with Foxconn, I have little doubt that it's going to be a problem for Amazon, who also reported today, and they're crashing right now. So you have Microsoft, which is the largest component of the triple Qs. The next two are Apple and I believe Amazon. So we're going to go over the weekly charts in a moment, and I'm going to lay out a game plan for how I plan on trading this market. I was very, very tempted to add more to a position. We were able to catch the bottom on Netflix and the rally up today. That's not me bragging. I am down on the earnings trade. I got caught up in that trade. So I'm still down net on the trade. So we had a good day, but it's been a rough week. I'll tell you that right now, rough week and a half. So I did not add more to that trade for a number of reasons. One, the weekly charts look good, but as I'll mention it a couple of times tonight when I go over the weekly charts, one trading day left to go, and a lot can change. Two, why did we rally today? We rallied because we had bad news. So we get GDP numbers. This is our first quarter of negative GDP. Two, it's official recession, and we've been talking about for weeks now about the yield curve and that it was signaling recession. We are at the precipice, and we could quite very well be in a recession right here, right now. So you're looking at rate hikes. You're looking at earnings, which on a forward-looking basis are not wonderful. Boeing, they reported a horrible quarter. Look at this, free cash flow, red. I mean, this is bad. This is really, really bad. And we have our big banks that are out there that are now being called out by their boards and the shareholders because of, you guessed it, the World Economic Forum and Larry Fink, this guy here who's part of the Young Leaders Group, who is now advocating stakeholder capitalism. So basically, the company needs to support society. You're going to hear more and more about this. They're donating, Wells Fargo, donating money to Green New Deal type of projects, just throwing shareholder money out the window. So the capitalism that we need in this country is not the capitalism that we're getting. And unfortunately, with the threat of interest rates moving up higher, along with I just lost. I just saw Talon's message here, and it just totally threw me off. Hey everyone, what do we get, Talon? With rising inflation, we really need to uh, buckle up. I think it's good. I think today was nothing. It was a short covering rally. If you take a look at the bearish sentiment, it was like at multi-year lows, if not historic lows. So, excuse me, bullish sentiment at historic lows. So, we expected a rally. Add to these problems with earnings is that we have a corruption going on in this country. Like, maybe it's just being spoken about now, but I don't think so. I think it's a lot worse now. Ron Paul, one of my favorite guys out there, Ukraine war is a racket, just validating a thesis that I've been pushing forward for a while now. We are just simply, we have our economy, which is in free fall, now negative, heading into recession, and we are sending $33 billion worth of weaponry aid. We're paying the pensions of government workers in the Ukraine. Why not adopt them? Make them a state. What are we doing? Add to that, we are ratcheting up tensions. German lawmakers vote overwhelmingly to send heavy, complex weapons to the Ukraine. They better do this before winter. I mean, they better hope Russia falls, because they're not going to get any oil and gas next year. Russian oil, how are we doing against Russia? Well, their fossil fuel revenues doubled despite sanctions, and they are now taking rubles as payment, undermining the US dollar. What's going on? This is going to be where we are at not too long from now. Yen craters to 20-year lows as BOJ stuns market with daily fixed rate operations to defend the yen. The yen is in free fall. We just recently did a short covering rally on the yen, and we exited that real quick. So this is what's going to happen to the US dollar once people understand that we are bankrupt and we are run by a bunch of really, really corrupt people. And I don't mean just Democrats. I'm talking about the old school Republicans that are in office right now as well. So where do we look? Where do we go to from here in terms of longs? Well, we added to our long positions today in the gold mining stocks. Well, they've been beaten up pretty badly. I'll go over that chart in a moment. NUGT. Gold, it's having a rough month, but gold demand in the first quarter is surging. Gold demand surged to kick off the year up 34% year on year in the first quarter of 2022. This is just a sidekick. I love this. What they really think. Biden senior advisor calls squad members effing idiots, according to New York Times. That's published by the New York Times. Go figure. Morons. Okay, let's talk about the markets. So we need to understand what brought us to the party, what brought us to all-time highs on the stock market. You got to take a look at this chart. This is the Fed's balance sheet. Here's the trend, tick for tick, lockstep higher with the stock market. But what are they doing now? Their balance sheet is declining. Second consecutive week of declines in the Fed's balance sheet. And this is supposed to pick up to the downside. So if the stock market went up due to all this accommodation, well, what's going to happen when they take the punch bowl away? What's going to happen when all the free money that was used to buy back stocks to goose earnings, that money goes away? In particular, when they change the style here, I hate this. Particularly when you have, according to the Buffett indicator, We remain overvalued. In fact, 45% overvalued. And this is as of the 21st. So technically today we got more expensive on the market. So we are a long ways away from historical trend, meaning that the path of least resistance, folks, is to the downside. But I do think that you have opportunities in the gold stocks. Dead cat bounce, do we test or lower low? I think that we are going to, my guess, I think we're going to fade on the week. The weekly chart, which I'll go over in a moment, shows the Dow Jones recapturing a breakout point. I think that's a breakdown point retest. This is a guess. It could be completely wrong. We'll know by the end of business tomorrow. But I think that this is the last best chance to really get a feel for what the direction of the markets are going to be. Earnings have not been wonderful on a forward-looking basis, and this is going to be the last great opportunity to open up short trades. And I think that that's what we're going to be doing tomorrow. So what we'll be doing is looking to open up what you call bear put spreads, basically buying a deep in the money option and selling a deep out of the money option. That helps finance the trade. So we'll be using long-term contracts, probably July contracts. When I buy a contract, an option contract, I want to have as little time decay as possible, so that way I have room to be wrong. So that's the game plan that I have, and I'll tell you the whys right now and what we're going to be looking for. Let's take a look at the weekly charts. Now, the yield curve, this is a monthly chart of the yield curve. We have already inverted intra-period, intra-month. Every time that's occurred since 1955, only one time we did not go into recession. And here we are now inverting. This is a very bearish setup. If we begin to see yields move up higher and a steepening of the yield curve, very, very bearish. And I suspect that that's what's going to happen. Because when you take a look at the 10-year yield weekly time frame, we're down on the week because we were overbought, but this is still a very strong chart. Let's take a look at the daily chart. We expected the pullback. We expected a rally back. The question is, do we break out or do we put it in a double top? Only the market can tell us that. And in a moment, I'm going to go over. That's a nice flag formation. I'm going to go over yields. In fact, let's go over them now. I want to see how they're reacting to earnings. Yields are not really moving all that much. The NASDAQ is down 1.5%. It was lower. Let's bring up Amazon. It's frankly not as bad as it could be. It's a brutal chart. Looks like the NASDAQ's going to come up to fill the gap here. Let's take a look at Apple. Apple coming back. All right, so we came here for yields, and they are flat. Let's just make sure that this is open. The dollar remains strong. Yields are pulling back. Yields are now down. There are weeping people over in the Federal Reserve right now. They are weeping. They're about to raise interest rates by 0.5 point, 0.75 point, sequential times, rolling off their balance sheet with earnings doing the nosedive on a forward-looking basis. Stocks are still expensive. Inflation's ripping through the ceiling. And we have a potato for a president. Good stuff. Bond prices holding support, but I don't like this chart. We faded off the highs of the week. Stokes are very oversold. Maybe they will get a rally. Check out how we closed today. Bullish reversal bar. Let's take out our crayon. I think if we break to new lower lows on the TLT, you're going to see Armageddon in the stock market. Because what that means, if we get a breakdown on the TLT, that means that bond yields will be above 3%. And that's going to be psychologically damaging, especially for growth stocks. The tip market, Treasury inflation protected securities bouncing back this week at resistance. No new weekly high, inside week. Let's take a look at the daily chart. Strong day today. I think this gets stronger because if you have earnings that are declining, economy that is weakening, yet inflation is on the rise, that's stagflation. So people are going to be searching out yield. And one of the best places to do that, if you want to preserve your buying power, tips. So tips should do well. As for the dollar, I think what we're seeing on the dollar is a blow off top. So what have we been doing? This is insane, these Stokes. What have we been doing to take advantage or position ourselves for a dollar that corrects? And it's going to correct really, really hard. These Stokes are at historic levels. What we're doing is we're buying up more and more gold stocks on this pullback. This is a blow off top. This is a blow off top. Each morning when you wake up, you see the yen moving lower and lower, the dollar reprices or the UUP reprices at the open, and it gaps up. Let's check out the yen, because I plan on, wow. The yen's going lower. Look at RSI in a weekly time frame. You have on a currency RSI at 12. You're going to see a massive short covering rally here. Note to self, yen. Let's check out the euro. Brutal. Multi-year lows. Daily chart. Doji star formation on the day. We may get a counter trend rally here on the euro. Now the euro has more influence on the dollar than the yen does, because it's of the Dixie basket, the DXY. The euro makes up 55% of the basket that trades against the US dollar. So if we get a strong rally in the euro, and the yen, which is on a weekly time frame, very oversold, that's going to send the US dollar down in a very, very big way. So what I'm leading to is not just there is a short covering trade to be had on the yen. Yes, that's not the macro trade. That's a short-term trade. The macro trade is going to be buying emerging markets, continuing to buy gold stocks, silver stocks, physical gold. As for the VIX, earlier this week, we had broken out above this upper band of resistance, and we closed there, but we have since given up that real estate. I think we're on the verge of a major rally here in the VIX. Stokes rising. MACD's positive this week. Now, the equities I'm going to go over now, you need to view them through the lens of these charts. Excuse me. These charts are closing price action before Amazon and Apple's earnings, right? So one trading day left to go. And right now, the way we closed out the day on the Dow Transports, it's a very bullish chart. We're at resistance. Volume is okay. Trade rising. Wheat, we'll take a look at it. We'll take a look at it. The reason for wheat pulling back, I think it's a bunch of things. One of them is the dollar being so strong. So we'll go into the chart of wheat in a moment. All commodities came off in the recent weeks. You know, as I always like to say, when the overall stock market goes down initially anyway, everything goes down with it, right? So I wouldn't read too much into wheat prices. I think ultimately they're going to get resolved to the upside. So the Dow Transports weekly chart looking good, but tomorrow is going to be the tail of the tape. We broke out today. Where will we stop dead? Right at the 50 and 200 period moving averages. Volume decline. So this is telling me that there's a good chance that what we saw today was pure and simple a short covering rally. Now, the Dow Jones, I mentioned this earlier, that it closed out the day right at or slightly up and into the prior trading range. And if it closes above that mark, that's a very bullish event. Except I don't think it's going to. I think it's going to fade tomorrow. Let's see how the Dow futures are looking at current. Not that bad. Not that bad. Yeah, you can see the NASDAQ 100, it filled the gap. This is probably going to fade again. The VIX is strong. Apple beginning to fade a little bit here. What's Amazon doing? It's trying to come back, but it's stalling out here. I'm tempted to short it in the after hours, but I'm not going to. I think at this point in time, the Federal Reserve is going to have to come out with statements. And this is going to be one of the sticky situations that we're going to find ourselves if we do get short the market, is that the Federal Reserve is going to try to manage this market. Now, last week, they jawboned the market hard with talks of 50 and 75 basis point rate hikes. That's pretty strong stuff. That came from two other Fed governors besides Powell. So strong rhetoric. Now they're going to have to think about, okay, how do we soften the blow? What's our next move here? If they have to make a decision between rising inflation and a cratering stock market, they're gonna defend the stock market. So guaranteed, they're gonna go back to the printing presses and print up more money. They'll try to send out stimmy checks, and they'll make inflation worse. That's the sick part of what they're about to do. So I don't believe for a second that we're going to see half the interest rate hikes that they say they're going to do. Not for a second. And I think ultimately what they're going to do is the wrong thing. That is to start up the printing presses again and to keep printing money. Basically, the government will subsidize inflation. Crazy. It's maniacal. The S&P 500 weekly chart. Stocks are weak and getting weaker. I mean, despite the fact we have a bullish reversal bar on the week, I mean, if we give up all the gains, all this real estate that we've recaptured this week by the end of business tomorrow, first off, that's going to be a bloodbath of a sell-off. And two, I got to short the market. I have to short the market because the probability of us taking out 409 on the S&P 500 is very, very strong, or at least testing it. So I need to be short. Trip Tues. Up 0.8% on the week on volume. Let's go to the daily chart. I think this breaks. This is a monthly chart. Moving on to the banks. Weekly chart. Holding on by a very, very thin thread. The banks are very weak. Think about it. You have growth, which is up on the week, meaning the Qs are up on the week, yet the banks are a basket case. I didn't take a look at the Russell 2000. Yeah, this is a short. This is a short. I'll show you what I mean. Let me go to my annotated chart. So we had a dead cat bounce here, and we called that right. We broke it. Now, let's modify this for current day. If we break the new lower lows on the Russell 2000, this has to be shorted. This is a Megillah of a major dead cat bounce and a failure. Volume is already on average this week. It remains down. Check out the chart of the small caps. Small caps were up 1.87% on the session. Let's see how they're acting in the after hours session. Not too bad. Not too bad. Down 0.28%. Honestly, it looks like they want to rally. But what matters is this. What's the NASDAQ 100 doing? Amazon's coming back. What's Apple doing? I got to tell you, these earnings were so bad on a forward-looking basis. Who the heck is buying these stocks right now? The Federal Reserve? I don't think this holds. I think that after the after-hours trading closes tonight, I think that you're going to see the futures roll over. Watch the futures after 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. Technology, weekly chart, bullish reversal bar, recaptured support, one trading day left to go. See whether or not that holds. Volume strong. Daily chart, up 4%. Strong day, recaptured support, good volume. We caught this. I made mention of this a couple of days ago. We're seeing higher lows on Stokes, and it looks like, were it not for Apple earnings, Amazon's earnings, Boeing's earnings, I would think that we would move up higher here. But obviously, my tone is very bearish tonight. Semi-sector, unable to close back above support as of yet. Maybe they'll do it tomorrow. Head and shoulders set up. The neckline's broken. I think that this is a retest of the breakdown point, and this should probably be shorted. Daily chart. I'm live, Laura. I'm live. Send a lot of YouTube, Twitter. LABU, weekly chart. So we've already begun buying Indonesia, which is the second fastest growing economy in the world. Forget about LABU. I want to talk about EDC. EDC. So EDC has been weak. Why? China, 30% China exposure. Secondly, the strong US dollar. The dollar trades inversely of EDC. However, if you believe that we're seeing a blow off top in the US dollar, then EDC should be attractive. So we're going to be looking to buy emerging markets. It may not be EDC. I prefer to have a fund out there that is like they do ex Japan. I want ex mainland China because it's a corrupt system. It's they have the system that our corrupt politicians want to have. So I don't want anything to do with that, but I may have to settle for this. So weekly chart, we're still down on the week because the dollar is so strong and China's a basket case. I think we need to watch the COVID numbers over in China. And if those numbers begin to come in, I don't know if they have reopened Shanghai or not. I haven't really checked the news over there. But if they reopen Shanghai, if they reopen Foxconn, then China should come rallying back. But again, China is 30% of this fund. But I want to invest long outside the United States when this bubble goes. When you see the dollar begin to implode and the stock market, the equity market here in the United States sell off. Now, emerging markets are going to go down initially with US, just as they have been. However, at some point in time, they're going to diverge. Just as I believe that Bitcoin will diverge and move up higher as a safe haven. But right now, it's trading as a risk asset. Now, LABU is a leveraged ETF putting you long of biotech. I owned some going into the trading day, but we really got aggressive early on today. And bullish reversal bar on this session. We bought just off the lows. It's like 807, I think was the price. 807, 803, something like that. And we enjoyed this ride up higher. Look at the volume here. I think that what we had was a major whale out there dumping their position of LABU because these shares generally trade with U.S. equities, yet they diverged dramatically this morning. I mean, a brutal sell-off. And ultimately, we rallied back to close positive. That's probably a bottom for LABU. Energy. Bullish reversal bar. Energy's working. Let's go to a daily chart. Good day. New all-time highs potentially in sight. Staples, consumer staples. Bullish reversal bar. Looks as though we're moving to all-time highs. Discretionaries, not so fast. They're down on the week. They're closed below support. I think that they move lower tomorrow. Speaking of Bitcoin, how's Bitcoin reacting? It's up in the after-hour session. Good. All right, gold. I really want to see it close above 1900 this week. I am not loving this price action on the week. So if it closes above 1900, I'll be a happy camper, and I may be looking to add more to silver nugget, which we bought more of today. This is a weekly chart. You can see that we tap support, we tapped the rising 50 and 20 period moving averages, and we bounced. Volume above that, not average. It's going to come in above average. Let's go to a daily chart. Stokes, very oversold. Volume, good today. So we'll remain long. We'll look to add more. And I mentioned earlier, Indonesia. We've already started buying Indonesia. Look at the weekly candlestick. Near all-time highs. Probably going to break to new all-time highs this week. So Indonesia looking very, very good. All right, let's do some chart requests. First, we go back to, let me do wheat. I think you got to be patient with it, Trader Isaac. I mean, look at this. Look at this base that we broke out of. We're still very, very extended after a lot of gains on wheat. This needs to get digested. So it's really a matter of having patience, understanding the macro view. What are we doing on a monthly chart, weekly chart? Don't worry about the daily charts. Massive volume on the month. I mean, we're up over 9%. So I don't expect a new all-time record high this month or next month. We're probably just going to consolidate sideways. Weekly chart. And this is what I wanted to do. Take my crayon out. I think when we break out above $11 per share, that sets the stage for a continuation breakout on wheat. Let's bring up our friends over at TrendSpider. 35% discount code below. Get your own algorithm for trading. All right. Let's see what requests we have. Let me go to the members area first. Dominic. I think Dominic's talking about gold money. Something, a long message here, but it's all jumbled. All right. So Dominic wants gold money. Gold money's consolidating. This is a monthly chart. It's consolidating. We broke out in February, retest 1, retest 2. Gold money's a buy. I think you said that you bought more at 170. I'm fine with that. Weekly chart. Very nice candlesticks here. And we may just break out if this market doesn't fall tomorrow. So Dominic, I like gold money. I own it, and will probably be adding more. I haven't really looked at it all that much lately. Here's a daily chart. We broke out yesterday, retest today. We're going up higher on gold money. So I'm bullish on it. I'm going to buy more. Thanks for bringing it back to my attention. I really don't focus on it all that much because it's not a big position. All right. Let's go back. Take on comments. Bob, do you still think the overall market continues bearish? Yes, definitely. Definitely bearish. Today, don't get lured into a false sense of security. Thanks, Franklin. A wise man. Smash the like button. Yes, Pete, smash the like button. Thank you for that. Thank you very much, Rick. Yes, please. Helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. Hood. I guess that's SHIT. Earnings big drop after hours. Well, I think they're laying off like 10% of their workforce too. I mean, I don't understand Kathy Wood. I don't understand why she bought this company. They have no edge. I mean, it's junk. It's junk. There's no competitive advantage to this company. All right. Trout fly. Curious if the markets will limit down on huge capitulation move again. That's what I'm waiting for. Your thoughts? Oh, they could. Yeah, they could. They have the triggers there. The computers will shut everything down, but they do have to reopen them, and those shutdowns do help the market. They do limit the downfall for a small amount of time, not permanent, but it does take the momentum off. But I do think that could definitely happen. If we break to new weekly lower lows, it's done. It's done. This market's a short. I've been very, very reluctant to short the market because we haven't seen big volume to the downside, but I think that's about to change. I listened to the wheat CEO speak. He stated the stock goes above actual value of wheat, that they sell more shares to bring. Oh, really? Trader Isaac, you catching this? Yeah, absolutely, Jeff. I'm glad you brought this up because it gives me a feel for China. I have a saved version of this I want to go to. What fund is this? I think it's a Direxion fund. Yep, I have it here. It looks like a short-term top is in. Yeah, I would avoid this. I would not buy it. You have a ton of resistance above. I'd watch and see how it closes out the week. Just be careful. Be careful with this one. If you're thinking about buying it, be careful. It's pretty weak. Larry, ain't no good news nowhere. You have a way with words. Let's put stocks aside for the next 30 days. Buy or add to Nugget. Bingo. Cool. You bet, Jeff. All right, let's go back. Anybody have any other symbols? I got 10 minutes to go here. While I'm waiting for symbols to come through, if any, look at Apple beginning to roll. Yields are coming off their lows. Here's the NASDAQ 100. They filled the gap. Now they're rolling it over again. Down 1.58%. VIX holding firm. Holding very firm. Oh boy. We may be breaking out on the VIX. Buckle up. Okay. Post. Post is a food play that got smacked in the beginning of March. Is that like Post cereals? Same company? Looks good. The thing is that you have a lot of resistance immediately above. I like the monthly chart. Weekly chart, very, very nice. Very nice. So if this is a food company, it's a staple play. So we already went over the chart of the staples and how they look. So this stock probably correlates well with consumer staples. People got to eat. And we broke out today. I think we go up higher. Post looks really, really good. Rick Roofing, PayPal. I don't like the banks. They usually trades with the banks. You're right at resistance, daily resistance. Let's take a look at it on a monthly time frame. Oh, the monthly chart looks interesting. I could work with this. I would like to have seen it hit support, but it's holding the bottom of this volume shelf. Get another view. All right, so here's what I think is happening with PayPal. I don't think you can buy this stock. I think that what you're seeing, and I talk about this quite often about when you buy a stock on a breakout, you look for the breakout on stock, then you look for the pullback and the retest. Right, that's a bullish event. You get that more often than not. Sometimes it doesn't happen, but usually you get that. Now, the same holds true on a breakdown. You get your breakdown below a support level, and then you get a retest. And if it fails to follow through, if it fails to rally back above the support level and begins to roll over, God forbid it breaks down below the prior week's lows, that's a short signal. Shorts are going to be all over like white on rice. So I'm not saying short this stock yet. You can. You're very close to a resistance level where you could stop out on a close above, let's call it 94 bucks a share. But if it fails to roll over, if it fails to break out and rolls over, it becomes a short. And it could head down to the lower end of this trading range at around 74.50. And if you don't think that it could get there, I'll share you with this chart, which has been, it's really effed me up. Ask my members. Earnings. A trade gone bad, real bad. But we're bouncing back as we always do. KMB, stable play. Yeah, I would, without looking at the chart, anecdotally, I would say, yeah, I think that it would. right? That's Kimberly Clark, right? Yeah, Kimberly Clark. Yeah, it's looking good. I mean, nothing not to dislike here. This is a weekly chart, monthly chart, getting ready for a breakout. I mean, this is really, really sexy. I like it. Gapped up here, didn't fade, didn't pull back. It's getting ready to break out. I like Kimberly Clark. Very, very strong chart. AVT. Avnet. Woof. Look at this sucker. Goddamn. What do they do? Out of curiosity. This is a monthly chart. Rick Roofing. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it very much. Got a pair character doing the shake a sign, the hand sign saying cool. You're very welcome. I wonder why it doesn't show the image. It's strange. Maybe because I'm using this software. All right, so AVT, I'm trying to kill time here to find out what the company does. Bullish key reversal bar on the month. They tried down. It was rejected. Very strong company. Let me do this. I really like this chart. Woo! Nice. Composite rating of 93. EPS growth is not good. Current is good. Cheap as hell. 7. That may be typical. What's this competitor? What's their PE? They're an electronic parts group. PE of 12. So on a relative basis, it looks reasonable. Does it pay a dividend? 2.4% divvy. Okay, back to the chart. It looks like we're going to break out here. Obviously, we have one trading day left to go here. But absent Apple and Amazon's news, this is a very strong chart. Weekly view. Beautiful, beautiful week. But stopped right at resistance. Daily view. I would really wait for that breakout. I think first we're going to pull back on this. We're trading above the 3rd standard deviation Bollinger Band. You could nibble on the pullback, then add more on the breakout above weekly and monthly support. So, thank you very much for the super chats. Really helpful. Thank you. Thank you, sir. All right. With that, folks, thank you for joining in. Please smash the like button. And if you want my 5-part video tutorial, my top 5 favorite candlestick patterns, link below. TrendSpider, 35% discount code, link below. Everybody have a great night. Profitable trading day tomorrow. Members, I'll talk to you tomorrow morning. Be well.